How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel. Today, as you're watching this, it's August 14th, 2022, which marks the 75th Independence Day of Pakistan. In recent history, every August 14th, I've always done a special Karachi or Lahore airport update to commemorate the occasion, but this year I decided to spice things up a little bit, and by popular demand, I have finally brought to you all the new Islamabad International Airport in 1/400 scale. So I literally cannot tell you how many requests I've gotten over the years, and especially the past few months, to do Islamabad Airport in 400 scale. And seeing as this summer it was a huge goal of mine to try and do one new model airport a week, this project fit in perfectly. Unfortunately, I did have to skip the Doha model airport project. Number one, because I decided to wait a little bit before I actually started that project, and number two, this airport was just so highly requested that I was like, it's about time I tried this, and this is what I have for you all. So hopefully you like it, hopefully you think I did a pretty decent job at it. I personally have never been to the new Islamabad airport before. This opened up back in 2018. I actually went to the old Benazir Bhutto International Airport in 2016, just a few years before they shut that down and turned it into a full-scale Air Force military base. So this is the new Islamabad International Airport. Obviously, the proper name for it is just Islamabad International Airport. This is the biggest and busiest airport in Pakistan, also the first ever greenfield airport in Pakistani history, meaning this was developed on completely unused land, basically. They built it entirely from scratch, I guess you could say, unlike the other airports in Pakistan that were either previously military bases or stuff like that. So this was the first ever just like straight up new airport project in all of Pakistan. I really don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, state-of-the-art facility, the nicest, like I said, the biggest and busiest airport in all of the country, and it's just looks like such a beautiful facility. It truly is, as some people have said, it's truly ahead of its time for the country, for Pakistan. Unfortunately, that is because it's not really as busy as it should be. It's not receiving the amount of traffic that it was initially built to handle. I believe right now, the capacity right now, it's handling about 25 million people a year, passengers a year, which is really good. But obviously, it's far from what I believe the authorities and what people expect it to handle every year. So hopefully, as tourism in Pakistan continues to grow year after year, we'll see this airport handle more and more passengers each year. So, and we've seen that in recent years with some new airlines like Virgin Atlantic and British Airways, of course, starting services over the past few years, and we'll get more into the airlines and stuff when we get to that part. But let me just show you around the diorama that I have here. It's definitely the biggest one of the three that I've done so far. It's bigger than Lahore, of course, and it's bigger than Karachi, just ever so slightly. This is not the entire terminal, actually. There would be some more gates down that way on the domestic side, but didn't have space for that. So let me show you from this perspective. Here's the Google Maps image. If you can kind of make the comparison, I think I did a pretty decent job. Obviously, the terminal is not exactly perfect. It is just a one-time update for now. So I think I did a pretty okay job. So basically, the terminal it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just divided up into three sections, I guess. I believe this is the A gates this way, only for international flights. I think this is the B gates, which literally it's I've heard mixed opinions, or I shouldn't say opinions, but I've heard like mixed responses. Some people have told me that this is half domestic, half international, and literally everybody else has told me it's all international. And then there's a few people that have told me that it literally doesn't matter. It's like every gate is technically the exact same. It either leads to either customs or the baggage claim area. So I think the most popular response that I got is that this is all international. So for the sake of putting more planes in the update, I decided that, yeah, okay, I guess it's all international. So these are the B gates. I think this is the C concourse this way, which is strictly domestic, and there are a few more gates down that way, which I couldn't have, I didn't have space to add, and then there would be a couple of remote stands that way for the smaller turboprop planes like the ATRs that you see there. So some brief history about Islam, not history, but fast facts. This is the biggest hub right now for Pakistan International Airlines. It used to be in Karachi, but they moved it here because, I mean, why wouldn't they? It's a brand new state-of-the-art world-class airport. It is, again, the busiest one, and most of the airlines that you see flying to Karachi and Lahore, they go here as well. So you have, of course, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Saudi, Etihad, Thai Airways, Gulf Air, Oman Air, Iraqi Airways, Air China. And then you also have, this is weird, they have China Southern flying here as well. They fly 7879s from Wuhan. I think that's just cargo service. Today, actually, I don't know why, they're getting a Air Europa 787 from Madrid. I don't know what the reason for that is, but here's another cool thing about Islamabad. Because it is the capital of Pakistan, both this airport and the old airport, which is obviously now a military airport, every now and then they'll get some diplomatic charter flights, government charters. So most of them, I believe, will go to the old airport. I guess it's now called the Chaklala Air Force Base, Noor Khan Air Force Base. Most of the government charters would go there. But whenever there's like a repatriation flight or a humanitarian relief flight, those would usually come to this airport. So a really common example that I want to share with you is, I think this is my favorite one. Back in 2020, Scandinavian Airlines actually flew a Airbus A350 here to Islamabad from, I think it was Oslo. And it was operating a repatriation flight for Norwegian citizens who were stranded in Pakistan. So it flew into Islamabad from Oslo, boarded all the Norwegian residents and took them right back, took them back to Oslo, because there is a huge Pakistani community in Norway as well as in Denmark, and PIA actually used to fly to both Oslo and Copenhagen from Islamabad before they were temporarily banned from the European Union following the fake pilot scandal. They still are unfortunately banned from Europe, but they should be getting their services reinstated for the UK and the rest of Europe soon, hopefully. So Scandinavian flew in on a 350 back in 2020. I think it was just a one-time thing. Recently, actually, last year with the Afghanistan crisis, Scandinavian, again, they actually sent two A320neos from, I think, Copenhagen or something like that, to Islamabad to evacuate the Danish nationals. So I believe it was mostly Danish government workers or whatever, or diplomats. They were working at the embassy in Kabul in Afghanistan. When the crisis hit, a bunch of countries, they evacuated their diplomats to Islamabad across the border in Pakistan, and most of them were repatriated back to their home country from here. So I believe the Netherlands, you had England, you had, like I said, Denmark, I think Australia maybe, a bunch of countries, they evacuated their diplomats from Afghanistan, brought them to Pakistan, and then they flew out of Islamabad back to their home countries. I believe that's how it was. It was a crazy time to be alive here, definitely. And Islamabad also got a bunch of U.S. Air Force flights that were stopping over for refueling, coming back from Afghanistan. It's just been a lot of interesting traffic that this airport has received over the past few years, and literally today they're getting an Air Europa 787. I don't even know why, but yeah, that's just a brief synopsis of the cool stuff that Islamabad gets. Brief tour of the terminal here. It's very, very basic, but right here that basically would be the drop-off pickup area, and then this is the head house for where the check-in hall, passport control, immigration, all that would be here, security check as well. There's a little opening here and around the sides of the airport. This is where actually there's like a outdoor garden, outdoor patio area, first of its kind in all of Pakistan. Very beautiful, looks just like not just like, but it reminds me a lot of Singapore Changi and Kuala Lumpur airports. So that's really, really nice. Of course, Islamabad is in the not the northern areas of Pakistan, but it's North Pakistan, and it is pretty beautiful there, all the greenery and stuff like that. So it's nice that they incorporated that into the terminal. And then the terminal itself, where all the gates are, it's also very high. I should say high tech. It's not high tech. It's very modern. So that's really enough talking about the airport. I think you're all here to see all the different aircraft. So without any further delay, let's get right into that. Alright, so we're going to start over here with the domestic side first. Let me rephrase something I said in the beginning of the video. I do actually have all of the jetways on this side here, as you can see. There are, oh, that didn't help. There are, as you can see, 5 jetways on this side, and then everything else is just remote gates. So I do have that part down. I'm just missing the 4 remote stands that would be there. So, and those would be for these little ATR planes and I guess some other A320s and whatnot that they park there. So, domestic network from Islamabad is pretty good. Obviously, there's not that many options for domestic routes within Pakistan as compared to the US and India, and that's obviously because those are much bigger countries than Pakistan is, but still a decent amount, and there's a good few routes that you don't see at other airports, which is another reason why I'm very excited to do this airport, because there's some really cool domestic routes that you don't get in Karachi or Lahore, for example, and I'm excited to show you those here. And again, because this is because this is a one-time update, I forgot to mention there is no time frame. It's just a bunch of random planes that I just threw in for fun. So we'll start over here with this gate right here. I don't know the gate numbers. I'm not too familiar with Islamabad. Like I said, I've never been to this airport before, and there are no really like airport maps available, like really detailed airport maps on Google or anything like that, unfortunately. So I'm not too familiar with what gate numbers these are, and even the concourses. So bear with me on that. First off, we're going to start off here with the Serene Air 737-800, which came in from Quetta and is going to be headed back out, not back out to Quetta, but it's going to go off to Karachi next. And next up here is the Airblue A320, which just came in from Karachi and will be headed back out to Karachi because they don't have that big of a domestic network from here. I believe they do serve Skardu, which is a brand new route they recently started up a few months ago. So let me rephrase that actually. It came in from Karachi, will be continuing onwards to the northern areas. Skardu, beautiful airport that is. In the northern areas, bucket list place for me to go. Would love to visit the northern areas one day and hopefully fly there to Skardu or to Gilgit or something like that. It's just so beautiful up there. Next up here is this Air Sial A320, which this is going to be operating from and to Karachi. I don't think they have any other domestic route from Islamabad other than Karachi. Air Sial is pretty limited because they have a pretty small fleet of just 3 planes, of course, so there's only so many places you can fly to, right? Next up here is the PIA A320 in the slightly, I don't know what to call this. It's supposed to be the 1960s retro livery. It is kind of off from the livery it was supposed to replicate, but nonetheless still a beautiful livery. I really like how they painted this on 3 of their planes. Originally it was 4 planes, but one of them got repainted a few years ago. But yeah, this beautiful PIA 320 in the retro livery. This just came in from Karachi, it came in from Quetta, and it's going to be headed up to Skardu as well, competition with the Airblue there. So PIA has been operating the Islamabad-Skardu route for always, pretty much. They've always been operating to Skardu. Just recently, a few months ago, is when Airblue joined them on that route, and at least there's some competition there, so I guess that means the fares on that route will be a bit cheaper now, which is good because Skardu is definitely a place that looks like it's worth a visit for sure. So here's just a nice another shot of the 4 Pakistani airlines here: PIA, Air Sial, Airblue, and Serene Air. And of course, there's going to be many more Pakistani airlines joining the domestic sector over the next few years. You got Fly Jinnah coming up. You have, I forgot everybody else, but there's Fly Jinnah is coming up very soon. And then there's Arif Zara Airways. That's a very interesting name. And there's a bunch of other random startups that are going to be joining the domestic market very soon. Over here is the PIA 777-300ER, operating a rare equipment swap from the A320 headed down to Karachi domestic flight here. And this was a very, very common occurrence back in the day. Not even back in the day, literally not even 5-6 years ago we're talking. PIA used to operate wide bodies every single day between Islamabad and Karachi, Lahore and Karachi, because these are two very, very high demand routes. So every day you would see at least 2 or 3 777s flying these routes. And I especially remember the early morning flight from Karachi, PK300, Karachi Islamabad, that would be on a 777 every day. PK302, which is the PK300 was a 7 a.m. flight from Karachi Islamabad. PK302, which was the 8 a.m. Karachi Lahore flight, that was also a 777. And I think it was also 747 back when they used to operate up until like 2015 or 2014. And then, long story short, ever since like 2018, they just got rid of all the 777s on domestic routes, and it's just been strictly A320 ever since, which is really sad, but it is what it is, I guess. I really would like to see this more often, where they put domestic wide bodies, but just not happening these days as much as it used to, which is unfortunate. But had to put it in here. This is gonna be PK 301, not 301. I don't know what it is. 309 maybe back to Karachi. I think PK 308 was the 4 p.m. departure from Karachi to Islamabad. I can't remember, but it was definitely PK 308. Was definitely operated by 777-300ER at some point, because it was, at least when I was there in 2015. I remember seeing that flight with this exact plane. So yeah. And before I forget, we have our 2 ATRs here. We'll start back here with this ATR 42, which came in earlier from Gilgit, which is another town up in the northern areas. Another very, very beautiful place to visit. So it came in from Gilgit. It is now departing out to another northern city, Chitral. And that's a very special route for me, because my grandmother's family, they're actually from Chitral. So I do have ties to Chitral. And yeah, it feels really, really cool to actually put this route in there, because I've never done it before. And I've never been to Chitral before. Hopefully someday be able to visit. Again, very, very beautiful place. So that's going there. And in front is the ATR 72. Let me briefly mention that these actually wouldn't be here if they were taxiing over departure. There's actually another taxiway that goes like this way and that way. It bypasses the ramp here, but I don't have space for it, so I just improvised. But yeah, ATR 72 here, which is, I literally just found out before doing this video, there's only one of these left in the fleet. They had 5, I think, at their peak. PIA had 5 of these, and I didn't even know they only have 1 still active. So that's insane. And even worse, the ATR 72 is only based out of Karachi, so it doesn't go to Lahore, it doesn't go to Islamabad. But I had to improvise. Islamabad and Lahore, they're only ATR 42 operations, but I don't have another ATR 42 obviously, so it is what it is. So this ATR 72 is filling in for the 42, and it's going out to Multan. Came in earlier from there as well. All right, and then pushing out from the B Concourse, is that what this is? I can't remember. Etihad 7879, which is pushing back for departure back to Abu Dhabi. We'll say that's flight EY234, which is the flight that I took in 2016 coming back to the States from the old airport, and that was on the A321, which I didn't put in this update because everybody likes the 787 more. So yeah, so there we go. And next up here, Saudi 777-300ER in the older livery just came in from Jeddah, and we headed back out to Jeddah. I think that's flight 888. I don't know where that flight number goes to. It goes to somewhere, either Jeddah or Riyadh, I can't remember, but all I can say is that I've actually seen that flight before. When I was flying out of Islamabad in 2016, flight 888, I specifically remember that one. That was back when they flew 747-400, so I remember seeing 2 744s from Saudi parked side by side on the old Islamabad airport ramp, and I think if I can find the picture, you'll see it on your screen. You can see the 2 747s in the background, and these are not the leased 747s. These are actually the legacy Saudi 747s that got retired later that year. So these are planes that Saudi actually bought themselves. They're not leased or anything. So they had the full-on Saudi registration. This was HZ HZAIX and HZAIX and HZAIZ were those two 747s registered there. So good memories. And then of course, like I said, those two planes were retired later that year, 2016, and then ever since then it's been strictly 777 to Islamabad, mostly. So it's going to and from Jeddah, of course, just came in. And over here at the end of the concourse we have the 777-200LR, and I'm sure you can guess where that one's going to. Came in from Medina, Saudi Arabia, and is going to be operating the legendary flight 781 across to Toronto, Canada. Long haul flight there. Alright, moving over here we have the this A321, which if you see in my previous Karachi airport update you might have heard that I am planning to make this into Air Blue livery. I haven't done it yet, but we'll just say it's just sitting here. It's operating for Air Blue. Came in earlier from Abu Dhabi. It's going to go back out to the UAE, but this time to Sharjah in the UAE. So that's Air Blue, technically. Alright, and now on to some more wide-body aircraft and a couple narrow bodies. We'll start over here. Where's the lighting? Here it is. We have this Qatar Airways 777-300ER in the One World livery. This is a pretty new model I got a few weeks ago. Haven't shown it before on the channel. And this aircraft is operating from and to Doha, of course. They recently added another service. They normally have 2 daily to Islamabad, but to Lahore and Islamabad a few days a week they get 3 daily flights from Qatar. So they recently added that. I think it's on the 777-200LR. But, you know, Qatar Airways, they never are consistent with their planes, so it changes every day, so, or whenever it operates, if you know what I mean. Next up here we have the Turkish Airlines A330-300. Came in from Istanbul. I believe that's flight 710. And it goes back out to Istanbul as flight 711. I can't remember the flight number, but I think that might be what that is. So that's, yeah, Istanbul there. And then let's quickly get this A320 over here. PIA A320 is pushed back from where Turkish is right now, and it's taxiing out for departure to, let's say Doha, and came in earlier from, they fly to a bunch of random Middle Eastern cities. They fly to Doha, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah. I think they might fly to Al Ain as well, but we'll just say he's going to Doha, came in from Abu Dhabi earlier. So there we go. Alright. And fun fact, I actually bought this model specifically because I knew I'd eventually do Islamabad. So I specifically bought this British 777-200 for this airport, believe it or not. Ironically, they're not flying the 777-200 right now to Islamabad. They're actually flying the 787-8. But eventually they will switch back to the 222 when they change the flight to Gatwick instead of Heathrow. So here we have the British Airways 777-200ER, which is getting heavily serviced in between flights from and to London Heathrow. That's how it was for a while, and then for some reason a few months ago British Airways announced they're going to be changing the flight from Heathrow to Gatwick. No idea why, but they decided to do that. Initially, when they started this route in 2018, it was the 787-8, which I also have, but I don't know. I bought this model, this 777 I bought when they had switched it to the 222, and they were operating it from Gatwick. Recently, they had suspended the Islamabad flight because of rising fuel costs, I believe. That's the reason they gave. And only a few weeks ago, they recently brought it back. They recently resumed it from Heathrow, this time once again on the 787-8. And then what I've heard is that they will be eventually changing it from October, or either later this month or in October, I don't know, one of the two. They're going to be changing it back to London Gatwick for some reason on the 777-200ER. So that's what that is. But very, very happy to finally put this in an airport update. And then next up here is the competition, which has been actually doing much better than British Airways. Virgin Atlantic 787-9. This one is operating to and from London Heathrow. So Virgin Atlantic, British Airways might have suspended their flight at some point. Virgin Atlantic has actually been continuously operating to both Islamabad and Lahore, which is pretty impressive, and it's really good for them because they are brand new to the Pakistani market. When they started operations here in 2020, they had never flown to Pakistan before, and the reason they're even here in the first place is because PIA is banned. They're still not allowed to fly to the UK right now. And I've made plenty of videos on this before, and I will be making another one soon on IPS Airways, which is another Pakistani startup airline that's going to be trying to do services between the UK and Pakistan. Long story short, the point here is the UK and Pakistan, that's a big market. You have at least 400 people a day flying between the UK and Pakistan, as of 2019, I believe. That's a lot of people every day, 400 people between the UK and Pakistan every single day. So Virgin Atlantic, when PIA was banned, they took advantage of it. They started London Heathrow to Islamabad, London Heathrow to Lahore, and they even do Manchester to Islamabad on the A330-300. And Manchester to Islamabad was also operated by PIA. That was a very popular route. And then, of course, when PIA got banned, there was a big void, and Virgin Atlantic took over that. And so they're currently doing Manchester Islamabad on the 330, along with Heathrow to Islamabad and Heathrow to Lahore. Very, very amazing, and I'm very, very happy for Virgin Atlantic. And PIA will be going back to the UK soon, hopefully, in a few weeks or months. And even if PIA comes back, hopefully Virgin Atlantic will continue to experience their success that they've been experiencing lately. Hopefully British Airways does too. They've not been doing so well compared to Virgin, but as you can see, the UK-Pakistan market is huge. That's all I can say at this point. It's crazy how big it is. Next up is the 777-300ER in the Eurowhite livery. I guess it's better on this side. And this aircraft is operating a flight in from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it'll be headed out again to Saudi Arabia, this time to Dammam, Saudi Arabia. And next up is the unofficial flag carrier of Pakistan, Emirates 777-300ER. Just landed from Dubai and is just getting serviced or about to get serviced right now. My friend actually went to Islamabad a few weeks ago. He just got back a few weeks ago actually, and he flew Emirates there and back from Chicago, so that's pretty cool. And then over here we have the Oman Air 737-800, awaiting pushback clearance for the return flight to Muscat, and they operate a mix of planes just like to Karachi and Lahore, 737, 787, A330, all that good stuff. Just jumping over here to the taxiway is this PIA 777-200 in the retro livery. This was pushed back out of the gate where Virgin Atlantic is currently parked at. This aircraft is making a flight out to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Recently resumed that flight a few weeks ago, maybe last month, but that is going to Kuala Lumpur, and it came in earlier from Xi'an in China. They have a really interesting Asian network, Far East Asian network from here. So they operate currently in China. They have, I think, Beijing, Xi'an, and Chengdu. So 3 cities to China they currently operate to on 777s. Really interesting. They never did that before, but I think those recently started up. Well, Beijing they always did. But Xi'an and Chengdu, those were recently started, I think, earlier this year, which is very, very cool. Mainly maybe for cargo or trade or, something with regards to cargo. But they do operate passengers on that flight, or on those routes as well, which is really, really cool. And then last but not least, over here on the remote stand is this PIA 777-200ER, actually operating a military charter this time. It's going to go from here in Islamabad down to Multan, from Multan to Karachi, pick up more troops, and then fly all the way to Entebbe in Uganda. So PIA, they do a lot of these military charters to various African countries. They've done a few to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They've done a few like this one to Uganda, and I think they've done some to, I can't remember the city, it was oh man, I can't remember, it was somewhere in Central Africa, I can't remember, but they've done a lot of these like military charters over there. I'm not too sure why, but I have seen one of these when I was recently in Pakistan in January. I saw one 777-200 flying from, it had come in from Goma, I think. I forget where Goma is. I think it's also in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But it came in from Goma to Karachi, and then I saw it departing from Karachi to Multan, and then it went from Multan to Islamabad. So they would drop off some troops in Karachi, some more in Multan, and then take the remaining ones back to Islamabad. So, or onwards to Islamabad. So, trying to recreate that scenario here, which is really, really cool how they do that, the routing especially. But why they go on all those missions to the African continent, African countries, beats me. I'm not too sure why. If anybody could tell me, that'd be pretty awesome to know why they do that. But very, very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this massive airport update for Islamabad. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Islamabad airport updates, let me know. I definitely think I'm going to get a lot of requests to say, yes, please continue this airport. I would love to, and I'll see if I can. It's this airport and also Chicago O'Hare Terminal 5. Those are two airports that I really, really want to keep doing. The problem is they share the same tables and the same mats. Like I've been using these mats and these tables all summer long for all the airports you've seen. It's been these tables the whole time. So they all share the same stuff and the same buildings and gates and all that. So it will be pretty challenging to do both regular updates of Islamabad and O'Hare Terminal 5. So I'm going to have to either choose one or the other or just not do either. But we'll see what happens. That's enough for today. It's currently 1 a.m. and just trying to get this video done as soon as I can for you all. I hope it was worth it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck around with me till the end. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of the new Islamabad airport that I have brought to you all. Thank you all so much for your patience, and thank you all so much for your patience with me. I know many of you have been asking me to do this airport for years, and it took me a while. Never thought I'd be able to pull this off, but I finally did. And again, thank you all so very much. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching once again. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.